Well, now is our time for our special guest. Ibtihaj Muhammad is the first female Muslim American to medal at the Olympic Games. She's been named one of Time 100's most influential people and has written a new book, Proud, which chronicles her journey to the Olympics. Ibtihaj recently stopped by Makers, Oath's feminist media brand. Let's take a look at the clip.
Well, I'm a black woman. It's like you said, it's every day. These are things that we deal with. And even speaking to what happened to Gabby, I think that as African American athletes, you're just kind of almost held to a different standard. And even though you've won a medal and you're standing on the stage and you're representing your country, I think that there's always someone who's gonna, pick a photo with a fine-tooth comb and say, oh, well, this is what makes her unpatriotic. This is what makes her different. Yeah. With Gabby, it was, to me, an honest mistake forgetting to put your hand over your heart, which I feel like that could have happened to anyone. And for me, it's like, oh, well, she has a hijab on, so we have to question her patriotism. And at South by, it was a very bizarre moment in my life, not the first time it's happened to me. And I'm very vocal and verbal about the things that happen to me, not because I want to blow the whistle, but at the same time, it's like I want people to know that these are the common interactions that people who look like me have, and it's not just me as a public figure. This is a common occurrence for Muslim women, especially at the airport. Would most of us think, it's easy to travel from one place to another. It's not a hassle. It can be an anxious experience for someone who looks like me, especially now, to have to go to the airport. And to me, that's not okay, and I have to speak up and speak out against it.
Everyone, please give a warm Bill Brunch welcome to Ibtihaj Muhammad. Thank you so much for being here. It really is an honor. And following what you talked about in that clip, and I think to me what makes you so historic is that your Olympic journey happened at a really interesting time in our history during one of those volatile presidential elections of history. You had one candidate who was literally praising you, and the other who was spreading a lot about what the bigotry you discussed in that clip. Yeah. Was it challenging to address those themes in this book?
No, because they're my reality. This is my life, and I wanted to pen a memoir that was authentic and that laid everything out on the table, because I think that's how we move forward, is by talking about it, addressing the issues, and hopefully leading a better tomorrow than what we have today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Does that ever feel like a weight you don't want to carry, or is it now just a part of your stance and who you are?
I will never waver from using my platform for good in any capacity, whatever that means. And so much of my career has been, focused on winning medal, competing at the highest level of sport, and staying true to that. And now I feel that in being able to share my story, hopefully with more people, with the book, it seems like an opportunity that I can't pass up.
Yeah.
Will you tell us a little more about sort of what the book covers and how your experience is touring with the book now and all of that?
So Proud just dropped yesterday, so it's been a little bit crazy. Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. This is my second time in your studio, so I'm really excited to be here. The story is about, or my life, I guess, is really about this untold experience, not just being a fencer, but being a fencer of color. As the first, athlete of color on the women's saber team, as the first Muslim woman to represent Team USA at the Games and bring home a medal, it's a really unique experience. And we get to see athletes every 4 years at the Olympic Games. You get a very short window into our lives, and 9 out of 10 times, it's these amazing stories of triumph and us on a podium. But there's a lot of untold parts of our journey that I would like to share that aren't as savory, that aren't as palatable in a way that an Olympic medal is. But I think, again, it's important to tell these stories of struggle and of resilience and what that looks like. There were so many times in my life where I was told I wasn't capable, not strong enough, my hijab is too tight, my skin's too dark, and all these things that were meant to, I think, break me mentally, but also limit my ability to see myself in certain spaces. And I've always been that person who I like to push boundaries. I like to show people what I'm capable of, and I feel so proud that I was able to do that on the Olympic stage.
Is that why it was so important to you to make a young reader's edition? I love that you did this. So you have Proud, a kind of adult reader's version, and then she has a young reader's edition, so you could spread it to a younger audience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish I had a Muslim female athlete to look up to as a kid. I used to watch Hakeem Olajuwon play in Fast and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I used to be like, man, how are they doing that? And playing in the NBA, that's difficult, right? During the month of Ramadan to like abstain from like food and water and still be able to compete. I thought they were superheroes. And even for me growing up to see Serena and Venus play, I mean, as a young kid of color, they transformed the way that I saw myself. I saw myself, you know, I think even unconsciously occupy this space within my own sport because they were just unapologetic. They took the tennis world by storm. They were so strong, and I could see myself in them even way back when. Yeah. So in order to impart that story to kids today through my own lens, through my own story, I love that there's a Young Readers edition.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like Serena and Venus, your family seemed like such an important influence on you and your competitive nature and like picking up sports. I mean, from reading the book, I just like applaud your mother and for like pushing you guys out there to like try new things. And so what was that like discovering fencing, and was that really because your parents sort of encouraged you to try something new?
Yeah, in our family, we weren't really given much of an option of whether or not we played sports. It was more so of, you know, which sport do you want to play? And I remember, you know, throwing a round of football with my dad and my brother in the backyard from a really young age. I tried tennis, I ran track. And for me in each of these different sports as a young Muslim kid, my parents had to adjust the uniform by adding like long sleeves or adding, you know, spandex. And with fencing, totally different for me. It was a game changer in that the athletes wear long jackets, they wear long pants, and it uniquely accommodates my religious beliefs. So at 12 years old, my mom and I happened to stumble upon fencing in a car driving past a local high school, and she's like, don't know what it is, but I want you to do it. And that's how I started fencing. Yeah.
I love your mom's like, go pick up that sword really quick to see how it feels. Yeah.
I know. Let's see how far I can take you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was it, when you started fencing, was it an immediate love of the sport? You know, I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever loved the sport of fencing. I am the most competitive person at this table. I mean, imagine growing up, family of 5, it's like, I have to get this last slice of pizza. I've always been competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I've always been motivated and driven in that, one, I wanted to go to a good school. I saw fencing as a means to an end as a kid. I wanted to go to one of the top schools in the nation, and fencing was my ticket. But then once I graduated from university, Team USA for me wasn't diverse. It wasn't representative of the America that I knew. And I wanted to see if it was possible to break through as an athlete of color on the U.S. women's saber team. But I also wanted to transform the face of not just my sport, but sport in general, in that this was an opportunity to change the narrative for Muslims and Americans everywhere, for Muslims specifically in a way that now we all get the opportunity to see Muslims in a light that is positive and that totally flips the narrative on its head and doesn't continue to show us in, you know, these traditional roles that we see played out on television that are criminals and, you know, terrorists and all these different things. Women who wear black, who are not native to this country, who don't speak English, who are seen as oppressed. And I feel like I'm not any of those things, right? I'm everything that people don't expect. And that's what I love about it. I want young kids out there to see and visualize themselves in spaces where traditionally they weren't welcome.
Well, now they have a Barbie.
A Barbie,
right?
That's
So
amazing.
it's like, it's not even just saying it. I mean, there's now this physical toy that is so iconic that is now more inclusive because of you.
Oh, man, I mean, self-proclaimed queen of Barbie. From a young age, I played with Barbies my whole life, and for like an uncomfortably long time. I was like 15 when I stopped playing with Barbie.
That's right, I mean 15 minutes ago.
Yes, me and you in the back. But I have like 3-story dollhouse, had tons of dolls. My mom only bought us black and brown Barbies.
Me too.
Yeah. My mom was like, no, my children will see themselves represented in their, you know, just doll play. But to be honest, I mean, I remember being a kid walking down toy aisles and not being able to find a brown doll. So when my brother got to leave with like his truck or, you know, Power Rangers or whatever it was, I didn't get a toy because I had the 2 brown dolls that were on the shelves. So to have, you know, young kids out there, you know, kids of color and non-kids of color, Muslims and non-Muslim kids have the opportunity to not just have a fencing doll, which I think is pretty cool, but to also have a doll that chooses to wear hijab. It's helping to move the needle, to have even toys be more inclusive. I commend Mattel for choosing diversity in this moment, because it's this difficult time we're living in. And I feel like it's far easier to stay silent than it is to challenge the space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by fencing because I love sword fighting. I don't know anything about fencing.
Yeah.
I've
neither.
watched a lot of Star Wars.
You love lightsabers.
Okay, so I've watched a lot of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Could I be good at fencing if I know how to use a lightsaber?
So I know nothing about Star Wars.
Okay,
but,
we can watch it together.
Okay.
Marathon.
In my mind, I'm like Zorro, right?
Yes.
I can be your bodyguard.
Oh.
We can make this happen.
Oh, I'm down.
But maybe they translate. I feel like I could defend myself pretty well just in like trying to like constantly block a blade from hitting my face within my sport.
Yeah.
Which is useful, yeah.
I believe I can. I cannot.
Yes.
I think I have the force. I do not have it. But we can work this out for sure. I would feel very protected if you were guarding me.
I could get you prepared for Tokyo 2020.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Making you proud, Dad. I'm going to do it.
Well, you're offering to train and protect Lucas. But what else can we expect for you in the future?
I have a lot of projects. I'll be executive producing a show in partnership with Players Tribune, Derek Jeter's media outlet, and Self Magazine through Condé Nast. We'll be have a series of shows that profile female athletes. And not just any female athletes. These are women who are profound in their own respective sports and would get, we would all know their names had they been men. So it's a way for women to tell their own stories and hopefully share their journey with each of us in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Are you gonna head back to the Olympics? Is that something that you can consider?
I'm also training my friend here, so I feel like I have a full.
So you are going to be going back because I will be there.
No matter what, I will be there.
Yes, of
whether
course.
it be as a coach or an athlete.
Yeah.
Tokyo 2020, we're going to be there.
We're going to
Yeah.
be there.
Wow.
It's
You guys, you've heard it here
You heard
first.
it here first. It's going to be groundbreaking. And before we end, I just want to ask, do you see any potential you could possibly go into public office, run for something?
I have gotten that question so much. I feel like, do I look like a politician?
I think you could. You have to. I don't know. I just feel like I could vote for you, and I.
You do have it.
I would vote.
You have it.
Well, I have 4 votes, so I feel like we're ahead of the game.
And then Tokyo 2020. That's when we announced your candidacy. So it's really, we're working it all out.
Really,
here.
you're just going to be her campaign manager.
I know.
Yes. It's going to be a very mutual relationship here. It's going to be beneficial.
See, I feel like this is ironing its way out
Oh, my
far
God.
quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah. Magic happens on Bill Brunch.
I see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone, please give a thank you so much to Ibtihaj Muhammad for coming.
Yes.
Please, a round of applause.